10, 20 years ago, who would have thought that an obscure comic book would be adapted and given a huge budget to be a 10-episode TV series? But here we are, folks, The Umbrella Academy. So is it good or is it shit? Well, we're going to find out in this review, so let's get to it. If you're unfamiliar, The Umbrella Academy is a comic book series published by Dark Horse Comics, a comic book company that's famous for taking an idea and literally running several marathons with it. But more notably, it was thought up by that bloke from that band you listened to when you were 12. But I'm not here to talk about that, I'm here to talk about the Netflix adaptation, and more specifically, does it hold up as an enjoyable TV show? So, in a nutshell, the show is like a bit of everything. It's a bit of X-Men, a bit of Heroes, a bit of every YA novel adaptation you've ever seen. The premise of the show is 43 women all give birth on the same year on the same day, despite never showing any signs of pregnancy to begin with, which I call bullshit on. 43? Nah. These women have been having secret shags, I know it. Anyway, a creepy weirdo by the name of Sir Reginald Hargraves decides he's going to adopt 7 of these babies and raise them to be crime-fighting superheroes and discover each child's abilities, and also needlessly have them branded with an umbrella tattoo. Because he's a prick. Several years pass and all the children have grown up and left the Umbrella Academy to have lives of their own, until they're all brought back by the death of Hargraves. Good. That's really when the plot of the show really gets going. Plot-wise, it's fairly straightforward, more or less. Our characters have a simple goal to achieve, even though in the beginning, most of them don't seem too bothered about actually achieving it, even though it's a pretty big deal. The plot, however, does drag halfway through the season. It just seems to lose a little bit of steam, and there are a few episodes you'll have to slog through in order for the plot to get going again. And some plot details in this show can be seen coming a mile away. We now live in a post-Guardians world, where a talking monkey in a cardi isn't really all that bizarre to us because we've seen weirder shit. But even so, Umbrella Academy doesn't really take any risks here and instead goes, yeah, there's a talking monkey in a cardigan and an android wife and some time-travelling agents, so what? Get over it. It's a show about fucking superheroes. And you know what, it works. All that shit just feels like it fits in the world and it doesn't really stand out. And as a side note, between Mr. Monkey Man here and the recent Planet of the Apes films, CGI chimp technology has come a long way. Now if only we can get CGI Will Smith genie technology to work. In fact, most of the effects in the show are pretty good, aside from one dodgy Muscle Man effect. You'll know it when you see it. I mean, it just looks like a muscle suit on this poor fella. It's so bad. Character-wise, there are some strong ones here. By far, Klaus and Number 5 are the most enjoyable and intriguing to watch. Both of them are very fleshed out during the season, and both of them have very strong performances. Klaus in particular is a very interesting character to follow, and you really do feel for him at times. Plus, being the comedy relief of the group, he has the funniest lines in the entire show. The rest of the cast is pretty solid. Not every one of these characters gets as much development as Klaus and 5. Number 6, for example, is probably the least developed character, even though he's up there with some of the most intriguing. But you'll be fairly entertained by some, if not most of these characters. Weirdly, the weakest character for me was Ellen Page's, and it had nothing to do with her performance. She did a fine job and boy can she scream. But it was the fact that it was pretty easy to figure out where her character would go, and by the time we got to the end of the season, her character essentially just becomes a plot point, a goal, rather than just an actual fleshed out character. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that she's completely two-dimensional, but by the end of the show, she has about as much depth as a Tory politician. The cast work really well together though. There's some really good chemistry between the lot of them. You really do get the sense that this is a family. A fucked up family for sure, but still a family. And let's be honest, take away their superpowers and these guys aren't really too fucked up from most normal families in real life. The series is dripping with a stylized tone at times, but it doesn't beat you over the head with it until you're sick and begin to throw up stylized edits, like some other properties I know. And the use of licensed music is very well done here, although the amount they used is insane. Half the budget must have gone to paying for these songs. Christ, who's funding this show? Netflix? Oh, right. And finally, let's talk about that ending. No spoilers here, of course, but the ending is, well, just a tease for the next season. There's nothing really wrapped up here. We've essentially only got part of a story you originally sold us on. Yeah, a TV show can be an ongoing story, of course, but usually each season acts as a chapter, and each chapter wraps up the main points, but leaves a few things open for another season. But this doesn't feel like a satisfying ending to a season. It just feels like we're missing some story here. And now we have to wait 2 years for a resolution. It's the same shit American Gods pulled on us. Right, let's wrap things up, shall we? So overall, this is an entertaining watch. Sure, it drags a little in the middle, but it does tend to pick up towards the end, even though the ending is about as satisfying as being kicked in the balls. Okay, it's not that bad, but it does leave you somewhat unfulfilled from the show. But like any dirty trick, it does its job and makes me wanting more. The characters are pretty strong, the plot is fun and interesting to follow along for the most part. Although there are a few predictable moments, there will be 1 or 2 plot points that may actually surprise you. I would definitely recommend this. It's not going to be everyone's cup of tea because it's a Netflix show. Not a cup of tea. It's a TV show. You can't drink it. Oh, that was a shit joke. 8 out of 10. Should have been a cup of tea. So that was my thoughts on the Umbrella Academy. Have you seen it? If so, let us know. And if you like what we're putting out and you'd like to help and support us, then you can do by liking this video, subscribing to our channel or sharing the video. Any and all of those things really help us out. But cheers for watching.